Good morning. How's it going today? Today is July the 1st, and I want to talk about what's happened for me. 7 things that has happened in my retirement in just 2 months, because I've been retired now for a little over 2 months, and there's been some changes. These 7 things, some of them are surprising and some of them I planned, right? Now, one surprising one was that my fuel cost went way down. For the month of June, I didn't spend any money at all on fuel. I filled up my tank near the end of May, and I didn't spend any money in June. And then I still have a half a tank of gas left. So it's not like I filled up my tank on May the 31st and, milked it through the month. I still have half a tank. So that's awesome, because before I was doing at least 1 tank a month. And, sometimes it didn't last that long, depending on what I was doing. And the next thing is food. Food is a lot less expensive now for me, because I am not, I'm just not spending as much. I'm not really sure why, but because I go shopping every 2 or 3 days, and I just get food for that period of time. I think maybe it's because I don't have anything in the house for me to graze on when I'm bored, which is what I used to do. So I'm just going every 2 or 3 days getting what I need. Like when I went to the grocery store yesterday, the only food that I had in my refrigerator was a head of lettuce. Nothing in the freezer. Had some condiments, but that's, not what I can't eat mustard for dinner, so it was a head of lettuce. So anyway, my budget was $300, which included the food and junk food. And junk food for me is pizza, fried chicken, candy, cookies, and cake. That does not include fast food or restaurants, because I don't go to fast food or restaurants, so I'm not putting them in that category. I haven't spent any money on them in, I don't know, months, years, maybe. Okay, so another thing that has changed that I planned for was health insurance. Now, when you retire, before you get on Medicare here, you have to provide your own health insurance. You have to figure it out. And I went with the marketplace insurance. The insurance that I got is just as crappy as the insurance I had when I was working. It cost me $5.50 a month. It has a very high deductible and co-pays and all that crap, but that's pretty much what I had when I was working. The only thing is that the plan that I picked, I can go to my local hospital if there's an emergency. They're what you call in-network. Now, there was other plans that were absolutely free, but there's no hospital in this county that they contracted with. So there's really no point in having catastrophic insurance if there's nothing to cover your catastrophe. Kind of like, having California insurance when you live in Florida. It's just not going to work. So anyway, $5.50, which I planned for, which is awesome. Because if I'd went with Cobra from my workplace, it was going to be over $600 a month, which I would never have done anyway. Okay, so the next one is shopping. I have found that my shopping habits are different, and I purposely did this because I don't want to run up a lot of debt. I don't want any debt in my life. And the biggest thing for me is to make sure I don't get into debt. And so my shopping habits are, if I want something, I may put it on a list, whether it's in my computer or on a piece of paper, and I don't run out and buy it immediately. Now, that can be different if you are working on something and you need a tool. Well, you got to go get that tool, or you got to put your project on hold. Completely different, right? Everybody understands that, okay? So, and that goes along with the other thing that I was going to talk about is repairs. Now, before, I put repairs off, and now I am getting things done. Now, I have paid for some things to be done because I just don't know how to do it, or it's too big for me. Like my sliding glass doors, since I moved in here, my sliding glass doors have been really hard to open. They squeak, they scream, and oh, Jesus. Sorry, some random call, spam bullshit. Anyway, my sliding glass doors screech and made noise, and it was hard to open. And after I got injured at work, it was really difficult, and I had surgery on my hand. I mean, I was having a hard time getting these doors open. So I had to pay somebody a hunk of money to fix them. Now they slide like silk. It's awesome. But other little things like fixing my ceiling fan, I did that myself, which was a huge project. I did that while I was working. It took me a month to do it, probably longer, because I just procrastinated so much because I was busy working, then I was tired, and I didn't want to mess with it in the evening because I needed to be able to see what I was doing because I had to turn the electricity off and all these other things, right? So now I don't have to do that. Something comes up, I can just do it or not do it, and there's no excuse for it unless it's something I can't physically do, right? And so the next thing, which is, let's see, this is number 6 on my list, is yard work. Now I'm doing my yard work now. I'm not as good as the people that do it commercially, although the people that I had doing it weren't that good anyway. Half the time they didn't show up, and they just did a buzz around the yard, what we called in the South a lick and a promise, and good luck, right? So I've been doing my own yard work, and I parse it out. I'll do a little bit here, a little bit there, early in the morning, late in the evening, not every day, 2 or 3 days, And now the grass is getting really high very fast because it's been raining a lot, and it's much harder to deal with. But anyway, yard work. I'm doing my own yard work. And then the last thing on my list is my mental feelings about everything in general. I have learned not to be in a rush for anything. Take my time. If I don't want to do something right now, circle back to it later. I have learned and embraced peace and serenity and mañana in Spanish, which means, it doesn't mean tomorrow, it means not today. So mañana is a good word for me. So, the reason I say that is because the first day that I wasn't working, the first Monday, I had this big list on my whiteboard, and I had all these things I needed to do. I needed to go to this store, I needed to go to that place, I needed to get this stuff, and then I needed to fix this, I need to clean that, and I need to empty that. I had like 10 things on this list that I was determined to do in that one day. And I got out on the road, and I was halfway to the library, right? I'm like, what in the hell am I doing? This is not Saturday on a work week. I've got to change my mindset here. So I reeled it back in. I went to the library, went to the grocery store, and all that other crap on the list. I didn't do that day. I put it off to another day. Some of them didn't get done at all, and some of them got put off to the next week. So all that to say that I have changed my mindset towards retirement, because I just feel like it should be more about enjoying life and not rushing around trying to get all these to-dos done that I couldn't do when I was working. A lot of people talk about the honey-do list, and what they don't realize when they retire is you don't want to do them all at one time or you'll get burned out, because then you'll be thinking about going back to work. And now, as a bonus, I want to tell you about something else that I've done. I got off of the websites that I used to go to regularly. I don't go to Indeed. I don't go to LinkedIn. I stay off the professional society web pages. I got out of all of the Facebook groups that I was a member of that were related to work. I don't even talk to people that I used to work with, except for the people that I have as real friends that I have done things with outside of work, which very few, right? They were coworkers. They weren't friends. All those people you work with, unless you go hang out with them and do things with them after work, they're not your friends. So anyway, let's see. I had the Facebook. Oh yeah, and I had never done Instagram, so that wasn't even a thing. And the groups. And the big thing about getting off the like Indeed and LinkedIn and the professional societies and all that stuff is that for me, whenever I stayed engaged with those places, those apps, those websites, those people, I was continually thinking about, oh, I should go get another job. Well, that's not going to happen. I'm not going back to work, at least not in that, right? It's not going to happen. So I'm just trying to stay away from it, because once you shift your mind into retirement, you really need to shift your mind away from work, because what'll happen is you'll end up going back to work. And if you're not ready to retire, then go ahead. But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to go off on that little tangent. Anyway, so those were the 7 things and a bonus for me that have changed in retirement. Good, bad, whatever. It's just, it is what it is, and it's my experience. And I figured I'd put that out here on July 1st, because half the year's gone. The next half of my year will be retirement and what I'm faced with. And I have a bunch of stuff in the works, so hopefully it won't be too traumatic for me. Anyway, see you next time.